At least 6 Lesotho nationals have been deported back to their country. They were apprehended by officials in Ficksburg. Hundreds of Lesotho nationals have formed long queues to get back into South Africa. Newzroom Afrika senior reporter Malungelo Boy is at the Ficksburg border post and joins us now. Malungelo, do we know why these 6 were sent packing, so to speak?
Hi there. That's right. In fact, what happens is that there are military personnel from South Africa that are currently patrolling the river that's in between South Africa and Lesotho. So what they've been doing that's what they've been doing for the past few months, because of people trying to enter into South Africa illegally. And so those 6 people that were apprehended earlier had in fact entered South Africa illegally, and they were sent back to their home country, that is Lesotho. And that's not the first time really we've seen foreign nationals entering South Africa illegally and then being sent back to where they came from. In fact, police in the Free State told us that between 1st of January and the 4th of January, there are about 48 people that were arrested for being in this particular for being in South Africa illegally, and those people were in fact had entered South Africa via back doors, and one of the main entrances that they've been using, or ways that they've been using in entering the country, is using the local river that's now being patrolled from both sides, the South African side and also the Lesotho side. And we've heard that during the festive season, there are about 7 people that drowned while attempting to get into South Africa.
What are the requirements for these individuals if they were to cross legally?
So it's clear, I mean, for everyone that is here wanting to come into South Africa, one of the things that officials want people to produce, one is that COVID-19 certificate. And also you need to have a passport from your home country, and also you need to make sure that you've got a permit, a work permit that says you have a job in South Africa. So what we've been observing really over the past few hours here is that officials have been checking each and every person that's been standing in the queue here, whether they've got the right passport and whether they have the permit to be work permit to be in South Africa, and also whether they have, the COVID-19 certificate that clears them from this virus. Well, some of the people that are standing in the queue are the people that were not able to produce those COVID-19 certificates. So what will happen then is that they will be tested for COVID-19. Currently here, there's about 2 mobile testing stations that are being used to test those that are actually coming into South Africa from Lesotho.
Now, we know that Lesotho imposed a curfew, I think close on 2 days ago. Has that impacted the number of people that are trying to cross over into South Africa?
That's right. In fact, we're seeing a lot of people trying to cross over to South Africa. And some of the people that want to cross over to South Africa, it's people that normally work in South Africa. They had traveled to Lesotho or to visit their families. Now what they're doing is going back to South Africa. Bear in mind, with Lesotho having introduced a hard lockdown, what that means then for Lesotho is that they've closed their borders for people to travel. It's only they're only allowing people to travel for medical emergencies and also essential services, and also those that are transporting goods. I'm talking about things like food and many other essentials. So what we're currently seeing, in fact, I was talking to some of the people that have been standing in the queue earlier, asking them, why are they going back to South Africa? They told they told me that they're working in South Africa, and if they continue to stay in Lesotho, really they won't be able to provide for their families. But also there's fear, Hugo, that if they continue to stay in Lesotho, they fear that with South Africa COVID-19 cases continuing to rise, they fear that perhaps the South African government might decide to close cross-border travel, and that means then they would be stuck in Lesotho and not be able to return to their places of work, which is in South Africa.
Malungela, my final question is, a lot of the border towns have reported huge delays and certain processes not working properly and crossing over. Are these the same sort of challenges they're facing out there, or is it all going quite smoothly?
Look, the lines are not moving as fast as one would expect them to move, but the situation really is not as chaotic as we've seen, for example, at the Beit Bridge border post. Yes, people have been standing in queues for long hours, but what's been interesting for me interacting with some of the people is that people are saying that because there's so much that is expected from them, they need to provide a lot of things to prove that they're in South Africa for work purposes, and also that they are COVID-19 free. They're saying that that is also proving for some of them to be quite a tedious process, which is contributing to the delays that we're currently seeing in some of these ports of entries in South Africa.
Malungela, thanks again for speaking to us, and we stay with the borders. Meanwhile, the Kosi Bay border between South Africa and Mozambique opened late after an official tested positive for COVID-19.